Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today one more time. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and today I have the honor to present this show, to be the host of this show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong and Associates. And well, it's always a pleasure to have someone that knows a lot about immigration and not just be wandering around what's going to happen with my case, what's going to happen with me, what's going on in the immigration world, but we also have an answer from a person that has over 47 years of experience in this immigration world. So let's welcome the attorney Margaret W. Wong, who is with us today. Hello, Ms. Wong. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Juan Carlos.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And well, as always, you're looking awesome and renewing yourself. But you were talking about something yesterday that you are teaching people how to think. What do you mean when you say, I want to teach you how to think?
I think through the years, immigration law really have changed because the Color Quota Act came in 1965, Civil Rights Act, and I keep repeating myself, came in 64. And then there was a time that America is filled with Eastern Europeans, the Balkans, they all came to America, and then the Filipinos, which is more whiter than of course, Filipinos had a lot of Spanish blood, but very, very few Asians. So the Asians start coming, the Chinese after 72, 78. So as I grew older, now I'm 74 years old, I realized that everything had changed so fast. By the time someone learns something, the world have changed. So now I decided instead of just giving people the answers, I'm trying to teach people how to think on their own and come to a conclusion of why it's not just because I'm a lawyer. It's not just because a judge is a judge. It's not because President Biden, President Bush, it's because their president is, and that's what America is all about. Is instead of a Chinese education, 1 + 1 is 2. In America, we teach kids, and I have 4 grandchildren now. There was a time I have no grandchildren. We teach them how to arrive at a conclusion. 1 + 1 is 2, but what made you decide 1 + 1 is 2 and not 1 + 1 is 3, right? So an AI is coming in. So instead of just learning the basics of 1 + 1 is 2, I'm trying to teach. And I thank you for all the audience, the listeners who's listening to us, who follows our careers, because, we need you because, all of us have responsibilities for our families, our staff, our jobs, our clients. So now I really realize that I really owe it to my constituent of power. As I said earlier, we all have our constituents. As a wife, your constituent of power is your husband, right? As a mother, your constituent power is your children. As a grandmother, your constituent power is your clients. As a lawyer, my constituent of power is my clients. Without them, I won't be able to pay my mortgage. I won't be able to learn. I won't be able to subscribe to all these journals and articles to learn what tomorrow, like PIP. It really takes a lot of time to learn what is PIP and years. It's not just, the new law is coming Monday, I can do this. It's years of learning military PIP, parole on TPS, parole on Lebanese DED went away. Now TPS is coming in also for Sudan, then why not Lebanon? They're proposing now. So these are all history. But maybe I talk too much, but I think it's so important. There is a book called How to Think. It's actually, I like it. It's written by economists to teach you, but I really think the world have changed so much that we need to question why America immigration law is like this. Why couldn't be? Even I accepted through the years, asylum, 1-year work permit. You're right, so why not give us 2 years? Now we got 2 years. Then why not 5 years or even 10 years one day? And why not give us residencia instead of making us pay like $500 every year to get a work permit. What do you use the money for? What does our government use our money for? I pay you to get a driver's license. I should get my driver's license the same day. I buy a face cream for Amazon. I should get my face cream or my dress the same day. I pay you $420, $520 for my work permit. It took you 9 months. I still don't get it. And I have to call you, and you have to pay ombudsman, you have to pay office. And what is that? What are you thinking, America? So these are things that we need to start questioning. Sorry.
Yeah, and Miss Wong, this is something that is very true, and not many people realize what's going on right now with our immigration cases because we don't know how to think about our immigration situations. But let's start with the first question that we have in our Facebook, and it says, "I am from Mexico. My husband is a retired veteran. He wants to file for me, but I entered 20 years ago, but went back to Mexico once when my mom passed. Will he be able to file for me? He's very sick now. He's 75. Basically, I
Absolutely.
take care of his health
Yeah.
issues."
So I'm glad you asked that question. That goes into our next topic, PIP. You're married to an American citizen before June 17th of 2024. You have lived here for more than 10 years. You came to America undocumented, but you also went back and came back when your mom was sick here. You did not tell me when you left, when you come back. Absolutely file the PIP because I presume you were never stopped at the border. Right now, the law won't come out, Federal Register won't come out until Monday morning. But absolutely fight for your PIP. At least you get the work permit after PIP is approved, because for PIP, you have a perm bar. For PIP, they may still approve it with perm bar. We don't know. I have to read the Federal Register. Absolutely file PIP, fight for the case. The law, but on the other, the law is if you left and come back, you would not be able to get the green card. But we have to look at the law to see if you can even do PIP. But if not, he's 75, you have to take care of him. This is a wonderful 10-year cancellation, 10-year non-LPR cancellation of removal case is what we call 42B. You may be able to win. I presume he filed for you the I-130. I also presume that he should have filed for your military PIP. I don't know why he didn't, because as long as he's honorably discharged. So number one, do the marriage PIP Monday. Number two, if that doesn't work, do the PIP parole from veteran, because he is a veteran. Even though he's honorary discharge but retired, he should be able to do it. So I don't know why you didn't do it. And I'm very sorry you didn't do it. And you married him 20 years ago, which means that you married him about 2004, which is after April 2001. No. You should be. I'm sorry you didn't do anything. You have a good case there. If you don't have a good lawyer, call me. But if you have a good lawyer, work with him and tell them that. And most lawyers know me. I've been around a long time doing this, that you qualify for military PIP. You probably qualify for marriage case PIP Monday. But then you also qualify for 42B for 10-year cancellation.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget, the attorney Margaret W. Wong is traveling across the country every single week. And if you want to talk to her, you can call the phone number 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call. The next question that we have here is, hi, madam. I am U.S. citizen born in India. My dad passed away in India, and now my mother is alone there. Is there a humanitarian visa that I could use to bring her to the U.S. and then file for her inside the country?
That's a very, very good question. You're right. India is very difficult to get tourist visa anymore. I'm surprised you didn't get the tourist visa. But instead of there's a humanitarian parole. Once she comes, you can file for her. But humanitarian parole with a USCIS or USDOS is not to replace a tourist visa. It's difficult to get a tourist visa in India, and I'm sorry about that. So maybe she should apply, but if not, definitely file the I-130 now. Is better late than never. Then at least she can come with her green card. I presume in India it's taking less than 2 years to bring her in instead of waiting for the humanitarian or tourist visa, because in India it's taking more than a year now to get even a tourist visa appointment. The whole world, as I said, have changed. In the olden days, you get a tourist visa appointment for 2 or 3 weeks. If you don't get it now, you file I-130. Now it's taking 1 or 2 years. So instead of doing humanitarian tourists, I will file I-130 now.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And we have another question that says, I am from Brazil. I used to live with an US citizen, but never married. He was a drug dealer, but I found out later on. I got really scared and mad at the same time. We had a lot of issues. His former couple or partner committed suicide, and she left a son together with him. I was taking care of the kid, but he started to become very violent. I called the police. I did the report with the police, and he got arrested.
Good job.
It's been 2 years after that, and he's still in jail. My question is because I received a call from the court that I have to appear at the court. I don't know if I need to get an attorney there and if I need to go actually because I wouldn't like to see him. But since I am filing for the U visa, what would you recommend for me to do in this case?
100% go to the court. There's a victim services. You didn't tell me what date, what place you're living in. There's very good victim services. You don't have to pay them. They're paid by our government. Each police station, each court have victims. So you need to call the victim service and tell them you feel threatened. That actually strengthen your U visa. I presume your U visa is filed. To file that U visa, you need the I-918, 918B, I-192, two types of work permit. One is the C-14, and that's free now. One is the A-19. I presume you filed all that. If you have children back in Brazil, of your foreign-born children that's living here now, make sure you include them. At that time, you're under 21. You should also file for your parents. So I don't think you need to worry. The most important thing is make sure you already got the C-14. This is a very good case. Talk to the victim services. Keep a copy of that report and file it once immigration asks for it. U visa is taking 7 or 8 or 10 years now. So for now, get the C-14 work permit. You didn't tell me if you got it yet. If not, ask your lawyer to use the receipt notice to push immigration and push ombudsman's office. If not, go to a senator's office and ask them to help you push it. Absolutely go to court.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, some people are just scared about going to court, Ms. Wong. But actually, if they are filing for a U visa, what happens if they don't show up? Could the U visa case drop?
Right. So that's a very good question because there's three. Actually, I know why Mr. Huang got. He knows the answer. He just wanted to ask me the question, so I get to give you the answer. He already know. So the three elements on U visa. Number one, there has to be a crime. Of course, there's a crime. You filed a police report, and now they're calling you to go to court. We presume you're going to criminal court. Number two, there is, you have corroborate with police. That's why Mr. Juan Carlos wants me to answer the question. If you don't go to court, sometimes, even though they already signed the 918B, because that's how your lawyer filed for you the U visa, sometimes when immigration wants additional information, the police may say, well, she did not cooperate with me full, all the way. So, I'm not going to support the U visa. It normally doesn't happen, but sometimes it does happen. That's why I go to court. The third thing is you have injury. Injury could be physical, emotional, or mental. In this case, you definitely have mental and emotional fear even after 2 years because you already told us you're really scared. You don't want to look at him in the eyes in court, right? So now you go see victim services. Now you have more evidence. You're more scared.
Yes, and one question that I think is connected to this one is my husband or is the couple of this person. They have two daughters together, and now this person is she wants to move out of the house. She wants to leave him, but she's scared that he could file a lawsuit or go to the police and report her, saying that she kidnapped the daughters, and how could this affect her in immigration regards in this case?
I don't see a problem. I don't know if he's a citizen or she is, or none of them are. Don't worry about them pushing you and saying you're kidnapped. You are the mother. In divorce cases, everybody say they're sexually molested. Everybody say they're kidnapped, because love become hate. I won't worry about that. Maybe you need to file the separation agreement first. Go to a good lawyer, because divorce lawyers are, it's not because they're expensive. It's a very emotional issue. When I was a young lawyer, I did some divorces. I stopped. You just can't handle it. That's why immigration law is fun, because immigration is a reunification of families, keep people in America, keep them working, keep them happy. Divorce law is a very ugly practice. It's always, I want this, I want that, I want money, I want more weekends, I want, this and that. So in your case, I don't see there's any problem. Kidnapping, sometimes they call the U.S. Department of State, to withhold passports, but that kidnapping only applies to international kidnap. You are the mother. You're not kidnapped because there's no temporary restraining order. There's no injunction saying that you did not. So you need to be affirmative. You cannot just say, "Oh, I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that." Then life is, what good is living? Living means that you take risk and you're not scared. Go ahead, separate. I'm not encouraging you to split or to whatever, but I'm just saying you need to do what you have to do to keep your own mind. Life is very lonely. I think, especially for us immigrants in America, we don't have the support. It's not like at home. My parents, I have my grandparents, I have my aunties and my uncles and my neighbors, and we speak the same language. Here it's hard. So you have to use what God gave us. You have to listen to three things: your mind and your brain, your heart, and your gut. Listen to yourself and say, this is what I have to do. And you're that scared, go to see the police first and say, I'm really scared because of this, this, this. Can you help me? Police people actually, I like them. They're nice people. Just tell them why you're scared.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And yeah, that's very true. You have to do what you need to do at some point, because it's a matter of death or life. If women don't leave the house when they have to, sometimes it ends up being a murder or something really horrible. So we don't want anybody to go through these situations. And we also have a lot of shelters that they protect women, so you can go there with your daughters, and they will protect you, and your husband probably won't find out where you are. So there's a lot of institutions that can give you the protection, and they can also provide you with food, with goods, and some other stuff that you may need during the process that you're living. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Offices in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the website that you can visit is www.imwong.com, and the phone number is 216-279-3984. Next question we have right now is, well, it's just a comment. Hello, Madame Wong and team. Hello, Pella. Thank you so much for this greeting. And this next question says, uh, Mrs. Wong, thank you for this show. I have a quick question. How do I know if I can use 245I? I came back in 1995. My dad was an US citizen. I think he filed something for my brothers and I, but we don't know what it was. since we were kids, and then he passed away.
You can do a FOIA. The thing is, FOIA is weird because now you have Google, you have computers, you have AI. So nowadays it's easier to do FOIAs. You're talking about things that happened in the 90s or at least before April 1. So I would do 3 FOIAs, one from USCIS for the father, one for your brother, one for you. In the olden days, I still remember in the 70s and 80s when the I-130 is approved, America no more keep records. They send it to the American embassy in China, in Taiwan, or in Mexico, and then America is done. So you may want to also do USDOS, but in those days, the American embassies have no computers. So normally they have a 7, 5, 10-year rule, 5-year rule, that anything more than 5, 10 years, they throw it out. But that was like a long time ago. So I would do the FOIAs for USDOS, Department of State, the USCIS, which is important. The father's it's difficult and easy. Use his name to do one, but show his death certificate. If he has a will, show who is the executor sign. If he doesn't have a will, you can say, I'm his son and stuff. We have done that and we've been pretty successful. But normally you don't even need a lawyer to find something. File the FOIA. If not, hire a good lawyer, because there are 2 ways to do FOIAs nowadays. You do email, which is a lot faster. These are all new stuff. But most lawyers, we still use paper mail, which means that it takes a long, long time, especially for someone who died.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, this is a good recommendation. If you want more information about this kind of cases, Ms. Wong has a lot of knowledge. And I remember you mentioned in the past that some attorneys don't know about 245I. So this is interesting for me. And you mentioned earlier that I know some of the answers, but this is a specific answer that I don't know. And I'm being really
okay.
honest, because 245I is confusing to me. Yeah.
Right. 245I is if you come to America before December 2000 and someone filed a visa petition or labor certification before April of 2001. So for example, I came to America in 98. Legally, I had a boss who filed, a patron who filed for me like in January of 2001. Even though that labor certification failed, now my kid is 21 years old. I can use the receipt notice of that Albitron labor certification. Now I can use my child who's over 21 to do the I-130. And that's when I really think if Kamala Harris became president, they may give us a new law. I hope they do, saying that if you have over 21-year-old children, they can sponsor you for green card, and you don't have to go back home to Mexico or Central America to get the green card. It's just like the spouse. So PIP, that's coming up on Monday. With the new federal regulations saying that if you're married to an American citizen before June 17th of 2024, you can get a green card here as long as you lived here for more than 10 years. I hope there will be a new law saying that as long as you live here for more than 10 years, if you have children over 21 that's born here or naturalized, you can still get a green card without going back. It's the same principle because these are immediate relative cases. But instead of a spouse, you have children. So hopefully that same law would apply to children. Right now, that didn't help. That didn't come out. The only thing 4 things that came out is stepchildren, you can still do. Kids who have undocumented children who have university education may get something. If you're married to a citizen, you lived here for more than 10 years, and if you married before June 17th, you can get a green card. These are the 4 things that just came out recently.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And we have the next question is very interesting. This person says, I am married to a US citizen. It seems like she doesn't want to file for me because anytime I ask her about filing for me, Example, open a joint account to start the process. She tells me it's not necessary and gets angry with me. So I am scared to ask her anything again because it will turn into a verbal fight. What can I do?
That's interesting. I wonder if it's a Wawa case because Wawa is interesting. It's not like a U visa. You have to report to the police or some law enforcement um, uh, officers, but Wawa you don't have to report to. But Wawa means there's emotional abuse, physical abuse. Maybe this is a form of abuse. Maybe talk to a therapist because that seems weird. You would think that she wants you to get a work permit so you can make more money, so she can buy more stuff, she can stop working. So maybe there's some sort of emotional abuse because Wawa is whenever you're married to an American citizen, even if you come to America illegally, you could get work permit residencia if there's emotional and abuse. It doesn't even have to be physical, mental, or emotional is good enough for Wawa. Maybe there is Wawa in this case.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and you can call the office of the attorney Margaret W. Wong and Associates. I want to go to the United States. I have a tourist visa. I am a psychologist. What is the best way you would recommend for me to stay legally in the United
You could, because you're a psychologist, different countries, like in China, it's more a trade to be a psychologist. So normally they only go to school in 4 years. In America, there are two types. One is an MD, psychiatrist or psychologist. One is a master's degree. So it depends on what you are. You may want to go on the U.S. To the U.S. Department of Health to see how do you get licensing. There's some tests, like for medical doctors, USMLE, for nurses, NCLEX. So it depends on what type of nurse degree. You may also do a equivalency test, like if you have a master's equivalent to an American, or you have a PhD equivalent to an American, or you just need to do the board testing. So you can either get a job offer and come to America on H1, but if you're very famous, have published a lot of articles, you can do an O1. But if not, you can come as a tourist and try to get a job offer and try to apply for H1B. If you are qualified, it's always difficult because the language problem for the H1B. If not, just come on a tourist, get a job offer, go back home and come back with a legal visa or stay here and do a change of status. There's a lot of ways to go. Another way that we always forgot because the world is coming by so fast is to do an EB3 or EB2. That means you get a job offer, you go back home. You can always visit on a tourist visa, like 10-year tourist, I presume, but you can wait back home for the green card interview. That the residency interview takes about 3.5 years to 5 years. If you're from India, it takes 10 years. If you're from Philippines, but Philippines now, EB3 is also pretty fast because of the nurses are not as such shortage in America. So there's a lot of way to do it. And don't forget EB3. Just go on the internet and check what is EB3. So we get a job offer, use the perm. It takes about 1.5 years. I went 40, it takes 3 months. You can also wait and come into America legally on a EB3.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, EB3 is one of those work-based visas, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Ms. Wong, since we have one more question asking about the visa lottery for coming to the United States, how do people know when it's a scam or when do people know when it's real?
That's a problem. Most lawyers like us anymore, we don't even do visa because you don't really need a lawyer. The information is on US DOS, US Department of State. Every year it comes out what country. There was a time Hong Kong was in it, now Hong Kong is not. Different year, different countries get listed if they have less people. You're right. How do you know it's a scam? I always advise our clients do it yourself. Really real. Most visa lotteries they don't use notarios or lawyers because it's stupid. Because in the olden days, I can do like 1,000 letters, right? So every day our offices are totally filled. Every day we send out 50, 30. We get to know the general, the postmaster, so we know there's a storm coming because you need to get there by midnight on that day. And then they pick and choose. Nowadays, you can only do one. Make sure, and also it has to, there's certain requirements, should be but you don't need to be a high school graduate. You just need to be a graduate or have a job offer after you got the lottery. So read those instructions carefully. Some countries, because there's so few people applying, so keep applying those. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's nice because you could come within that year. It's a really good program to diversify the American population.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for all of the answers. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, because it's 47 years of knowledge that you have in your brain, in your mind, in your heart. And thank you so much for sharing with all the people that get to join us every Wednesday and Thursday, and all the radio shows that you do, which are really good for people that want to learn something about immigration and to be more uh, comfortable in this country, besides all the situations that can be going on with immigration, the immigration world. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And don't forget, the phone number of the attorney Margaret W. Wong to make an appointment is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Attorney Margaret W. Wong, with over 47 years of experience in immigration law. Thank you so much. Have a good lunch and see you next time.